Sorcha, great to see you.
Hi Fergal, how are you today?
So, we're going to talk about your role. Very exciting. It's support education nurse. And am I right in thinking that it's a new role for MS Ireland?
Yeah, Fergal, it is indeed a new role. So I actually inherited half of the role from another nurse in the care centre, who was working as the support nurse, and then the educational side is completely new to MS Ireland. So combining the two was a new venture for them, and I'm really delighted to be a part of it.
So, I suppose the obvious first question is what is the support education nurse?
I know it's quite different to kind of a standard MS nurse role. So I support people one to one who have MS in the care centre when they're staying with respite. So I will see them on their admission, and we will discuss things like symptom management, or if they have any queries or anything at all relating to their condition. I'll just kind of talk them through and maybe point them out to some supports that are available in the community. So when they leave, they feel comfortable and kind of hopeful to be able to manage anything that came up in our meeting. And I also work closely with the community workers on that aspect of things because I support them in the centre and then the community workers support them outside the centre. So it's an important role. And then also on the educational side of things, I deliver talks to healthcare practitioners, so maybe OTs or physios, just to raise awareness on MS and what it is. And I also work on projects with MS Ireland and I link in with MS nurses around the country as well. So it's an evolving role, but it's really interesting.
And it's sort of you're becoming sort of a first point of contact for people, I'd say, after they've been newly diagnosed.
Yeah, definitely. I just kind of feel that it's important to have someone to support at such an early stage, and even like they mightn't be ready for all the supports of yet, but it's just having a person to advocate and kind of, talk things through is really helpful.
And could you give us then a little bit about how do you get into this role? First, how long have you been in the role?
So I'm only in the role since October 2024, so not too long, but
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, I was working in the emergency departments all over Dublin, and I wasn't like actively looking for a new role, but I was always interested in neurological conditions and also community nursing and education. And when I saw this role pop up, it was like a combination of the three of the things that I'm most interested in. So I said I had to apply for it, and I did, and here I am now. So,
And, would you have known about MS Ireland and about MS itself before you started?
yeah, in bits. So I had a family member who had MS, so it was quite close to my heart in that way. And I had met a couple of patients through my emergency nursing, who would come in with MS and different kind of issues around it. And I always wanted to kind of learn more about it, so it was the perfect opportunity for me to do that.
And what would you say is the most rewarding part of your job so far?
I think just meeting people with MS and like how strong and resilient they are. Like I've learned so much from working with people with MS. In general, like I think we should all kind of take an aspect of that because they're really, really strong and just inspiring to keep going. And it's an important reminder just to embrace life as well as you can. And
I
yeah.
know. And tell us, like, so you said education was part of it, like, so are you dealing with different people? Is it families, people with MS, family members, or how's that work?
So at the moment, I'm dealing with just people with MS and also healthcare practitioners as well. But I want to expand that role as the role develops into family education, patient education, and just kind of anyone who wants to know more information about MS. I want to expand that across my role to, just raise awareness and yeah.
And when you talk to somebody then at the start, is there information that they would typically be looking for or supports they're typically looking for?
So it depends on the person. I've learned from working with people with MS that no two people are the same. or experience kind of similar things. So the person has to come to me and really just tell me what they want, and I'll try my best to support them in that way. But I will kind of, if someone wanted support like immediately, I would link them in with their community worker. Or if they wanted advice on symptom management, I could have a chat with them about that and then maybe refer them back to their MS nurse in the hospital if there was something specific that had to be done. And also advice around medications. Like some people, they have to start medication quite early. So they might have queries about lifestyle and which is, the right one for them. So I'd give a bit of insight on that.
And you're kind of a real link person, aren't you? Then for everyone
Yeah,
within MS Ireland, and then people with MS. So that must be really interesting because you're kind of getting to meet everybody, aren't you?
I am. Yeah, I've met so many people since October and it's been great. I've been to a lot of the different hospitals, visiting the MS nurses and the clinics. And then also I go to conferences to make sure that like all the information that I am giving out is up to date and accurate. So I'm meeting consultants, I'm meeting neurologists, physios, neuro psychologists, everything. So it's really, really interesting.
Yeah. And I think that's a really important part of the job because, I like just say I was interviewing someone yesterday actually about their MS diagnosis, and it's really important then that the health professionals are aware of what MS Ireland do so that they can be at that stage referred to us, isn't it? That's very important.
Yeah, it's really, really important because we have so many services to offer people, and sometimes people don't really know what we do. So that I'm aiming to bridge the gap in between that. I'm working on a few things for the hospitals to kind of just have a better idea of what we do and to spread information really. So
And it's funny because I'm doing the Living with MS podcast, and so far they've when I ask them, if you could go back, what would you tell yourself when you heard about your diagnosis? And they all say getting in touch with MS Ireland or the branches or other people with MS sooner rather than later. They would encourage them to do that quicker because I think you mentioned earlier, maybe sometimes they're a bit reluctant or they're trying to take that
yeah.
in. But that's something, have you noticed that?
I have noticed that. Like it is up to everyone on their MS journey, but I think just reaching out in a small way can make a big impact. When you're ready, of course. But just be kind to yourself. Like there's no rush to figure everything out, but the amount of supports that we have, just it could be for you. Like there could be something for you earlier than you think. So I would really encourage people to reach out if they feel up to it.
Oh yeah, definitely. And what would be the most rewarding part of the job so far?
So I think meeting people with MS and just getting to kind of help people, like when I see someone who leaves the meeting with me a bit more hopeful about the future, or if I give them a tip on how to manage something more effectively in their MS journey and it works, and just seeing that helping people is really like the most rewarding part, I think.
And two words that you mentioned to me, resilience and honesty when dealing with people with MS. So do you get that? Do you get something personally from that?
I do. It's really inspiring and it's taught me to be a better person, really. Like, yeah, it's really, really profound. It just the resilience that they show is great.
And is there anything that, over the last 6 months that you've been learning about MS that has surprised you?
Yeah, actually, a lot of things. I think the first thing when I walked into the role is that no two people with MS are the same. There's nothing like nothing compares each other because, like, in a lot of different conditions that I've learned about, it's kind of black and white. Whereas this is like two people have completely different experiences with symptoms. Like, you just can't compare anything. So it's always to be open-minded and like help people tailoring like to them specifically. You can't just kind of paint everyone with the same brush, which is really important to remember, and that no two people experience the same. And then also how invisible some of the symptoms can be. So people can really struggle with fatigue, and they might feel isolated or misunderstood because people don't understand how severe it can be for people. So it's just kind of raising awareness on how invisible things can be, symptoms can be in the general population to make sure that people feel more seen, I think.
And would you have a message for people then, just say if somebody has been newly diagnosed and they've come across this video, would there be any message that you would have for them?
Yeah, I just advise people to take a deep breath and just be kind to yourself. And there's no rush to figure everything out. And MS is part of your life now, but it's not the whole story. So just remember that.
And if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, how is that? How do they go about doing that?
So at the moment, I work in the MS Care Centre, so I have an email that you can get in touch by. If you're in respite, you will get a one-to-one appointment with myself, and soon I hope to be rolling out appointments for the newly diagnosed one-to-one Zoom sessions. So that's coming in the near future.
And are you working? I saw something that you're working on sort of maybe going into future digital content. This is kind of maybe the start of it, but is that something that you're interested in for maybe younger people?
Yeah, definitely. Like I think that social media has a massive influence on kind of how people see the world now. So by creating content, I think it's a good idea to kind of grasp that audience and maybe raise more awareness, while also providing education for people around symptoms or kind of just daily life. It's really important, I think.
So thank you so much. Your enthusiasm for the role is coming out. So the very best of luck with the rest of it.
Thank you so much, Virgil. Thanks for having me today.